Hello, I'm Rachel from R.E. Hopkins Consulting, and today I have Neela Paul with me. Neela is a technical leadership consultant and coach who specializes in individual and team coaching for technical professionals to communicate with impact, courageously lead and inspire their organizations, and delivering outstanding results. She has over 25 years of global research and development executive experience at Kraft Foods, Wrigley Mars, and Panda Restaurant Group. Welcome, Neela.
Thank you very much, Rachel. I'm absolutely delighted to be here.
Welcome. And let's start by you telling us a little bit about yourself and your experience.
Oh, wonderful. So I have grown up in the research and development world, a scientist by training, and I started in product development. And after about 25 years of this kind of work, global executive experience, like you indicated, I decided to shift my focus and become a full-time leadership coach. And I specialize in helping technically trained leaders, technical people, really thrive in their life and their work and really make a bigger impact with their breakthroughs and their ideas and help them with their communication skills.
Great, thank you so much. So tell us, what are the pitfalls of cross-functional cooperation between R&D and an organization like marketing, and what can they do to better communicate?
Well, it's so interesting. Right now, it's so important that the great technical ideas get the airtime that they need and people really understand what may be possible. And what often happens when business strategies are developed, they're often developed by a business team in which, the technical people are parts of it, but aren't necessarily the leaders. And often what happens is the need would be for technical leaders to be able to find their voice in a way to be able to help the whole cross-functional team understand what can be done, what may be possible, and create that compelling rationale. And many technical leaders don't necessarily have the experience or the training to do that comfortably. And unfortunately, some great ideas sometimes die on the vine and people feel frustrated that their ideas are not being heard.
And how do you help the technical leaders with that?
So what I do through my coaching and experience, because I've been in their shoes, this was me for a long, long time, I use a lot of examples of things that work, and I help people see where they may be stuck. Coaching is really about helping people understand what they can do differently. So we unpack experiences that they've had and talk through what options there may have been, other ways to see the situation. So it's a combination of awareness along with skill building and then practicing and then going back, kind of like doing the play-by-play, in hindsight, what would you have done? What could you do? And then practice it in real life the next time a situation comes up.
Oh, interesting. And so what kind of skills do you often teach leaders? What are those skills that you see lacking in industry?
Well, creating a breakthrough requires multiple things, right? And when I say breakthrough, I don't mean necessarily just this world-changing thing, but anytime there is a solution that technically trained leaders have and really want to make sure is understood and deployed and leveraged, it's really important to make sure that the way people communicate lands to the audience. Speaking in jargon, going into excruciating detail at the wrong times, sometimes even feeling frustrated and letting that frustration show on the face or in the tone of voice creates a barrier for not just the connection, but for people to really listen and hear. So it's that creating the compelling argument, but connecting and creating relationship so that people want to work with each other and, more importantly, listen to each other deeply.
Okay, and you talked about breakthroughs and innovation. So what are the biggest barriers to innovations that you see in industry today or in companies that are trying to implement a breakthrough that's coming from, say, an R&D or technical organization?
So every company needs breakthroughs in order to be successful, to thrive, and to future-proof versus competition and the changing needs of the world. The problem is it's a risk. So one of the important skills that I help leaders develop is how to create almost like an argument as to why this is a great idea, deeply empathizing with what the risks may be, what the cost may be, different contingency plans. Now, technical people will work it with their counterparts, but they need to come at it with a mindset of understanding how all of that could work and how it lands on the original strategy. So if an original strategy was put into place, and most companies have at least, 1 year, 3 year plans. And if something comes up, especially, I'll give you an example. If there's a regulatory change on the horizon and certain ingredients, materials, or processes can no longer be done, and the technical leader is aware of that. Others may have heard about it, but they don't deeply understand it, and they certainly don't have the understanding of what could be done differently. It becomes critical that that technical leader know how to position the argument in a way that they will create a co-creative atmosphere. So it's not just coming from that technical leader, it actually is created together in a way that everyone owns the solutions and accepts the potential change or risk that this will create.
Do you have any examples of how you helped a leader through a difficult time or convincing the other part of the organization that their idea was valid?
Absolutely. So what I was referring to in terms of that regulatory situation is a lovely example of that. And I really did help this leader with exactly that problem. So in order to be able to help the cross-functional team realize that this was a big deal, the screaming the sky is falling, the way Chicken Little would do it, doesn't necessarily work. And that was the strategy that this technical leader was using. Just we need to do something, but not necessarily helping the people understand, the cross-functional team, what could be done. So creating possibilities even at the early stage. So we unpacked the tactics that were used to try to get the information on the table, and then came up with additional ways of talking about it. So then the leader practiced this with me, and then at the next meeting that was called, changed the way she was describing the situation and what's possible, and asking others, the cross-functional partners, their thoughts about it. So this just started the ball rolling. That was just step one. After that, of course, it's really creating the understanding that this is a team effort. So it can't just be done with one meeting. It's going to require a strategy change, cost implications, supply chain implications in terms of procuring this new material that was needed. So it was a very important thing to bring others in. So we also spent a lot of time on relationship building, how to do that. And this isn't friendly relationship building. This is relationship building in terms of really deep understanding of the needs and priorities of the different people on the cross-functional team, and very empathetically being able to see how to create a win-win for everyone. So not just the technical breakthrough needs to win, but all the players need to have something that then they realize and understand they're able to help in creating the solution. So it's co-owned.
Yes, absolutely. And I see that really does help organizations when there's a co-creation of a solution. So what advice do you give to the non-technical organization leads like marketing to better work with their technical leadership and their technical cohorts?
So I think one of the pieces of advice, because I coach people of all different, in all different functions, and a lot of marketing leaders as well, business leaders in general. One of the things I really do tell them is to make no assumptions about the comfort level of all of their technical leaders. The assumption is that their technical leaders will come to them with great ideas or potential issues proactively. And although many technical leaders are comfortable doing that, Some are not. Some just require a little bit of extra reach out, and it's important to do that. A good leader should reach out to all players, so that's of course a given. But especially the technical leaders, some of whom have not had a lot of experiences in these types of meetings, sharing their opinions in a way that is heard. So they need a little bit of extra attention, if you will, in terms of doing it proactively. And I think that makes such a big difference. It grows the relationship and the trust, because trust is everything. When people feel trusted, they're able to bring up difficult information in a very timely manner. And we all know that when information comes at the right time, there's more ways to solve the problem. You're not pigeonholed into one track.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what advice do you have for leadership and for leaders, both technical and non-technical?
I think the value of every single individual's voice is the critical piece. Technical leaders need to appreciate and understand what all the other cross-functional leaders bring. All the other cross-functional leaders have to understand each other as well as their technical leadership. Also, the idea of creating a relationship where there's enough trust that difficult topics can get discussed without people being thrown under the bus for bringing them up. It's so very critical. It's so easy to make people feel like they don't want to speak up because they've been burned. It's human nature. One of the things that's also important is that even though people are leaders, they're humans first. So understanding how humans react and respond is very important. It's just, remember, how would you say something to a child, a family member, somebody that's in your life that you care about? Using that same kind of empathy and language just starts a relationship off in a way and continues that relationship in a way that you're going to get the best out of everybody. And then, of course, you get the successful outcome.
I hear you talk about trust, which is very interesting. And we often think that trust is one thing at home and a completely different thing at work. And of course, there are differences, but I think that often we forget about that trust and that cooperation at work, because we're just definitely in a get things done mode and
Right.
and don't foster that as much as maybe we should.
Additionally, if I could add, Rachel, right now with COVID and all of the things going on in our world and our country, people are under an awful lot of stress. So giving each other the benefit of the doubt and not jumping to an assumption of what people's intent is will also be a tremendous help for everyone involved.
Well, thank you, Neela, for your time. This has been wonderful and I've learned a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This has been wonderful. Thanks for the opportunity.
Of course. If you'd like to contact Neela, you can contact her at neelapaul.com. That's NeelaPaul.com. Or you can email her directly at neelakpaul@gmail.com. And that is NeelaKpaul@gmail.com. Or you can connect with her through LinkedIn.
First of all, I really appreciate this opportunity to talk to everyone. I also wanted to extend an offer. I really want to help technical leaders. It's my passion to do this. And so what I'm offering is actually a complimentary 60-minute conversation coaching call with anyone who is interested in this, where as a thought partner, I can help you through any kind of a concern or issue that you have and help you get to resolution and actually make a real difference, even in that 1 hour. It's made a big difference for the clients I work with that way.
Well, thank you so much. That's really generous of you. I appreciate that.
Of course. Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you so much. I'm Rachel Hopkins at rehopkinsconsulting.com. Thank you for watching.